Josh, how do you insult fans of a project?
Just give the project to Kevin Smith.
And what does he do?
He poops all over the IP.
Oh, and then cries about it. I'm Joe.
I'm Josh.
You've got questions?
Yo, feeling grounded.
Welcome to Feeling Grounded with your hosts, Josh and Joe.
So what we want you all to do right now is subscribe to Feeling Grounded Podcast, like this video, share this video to any person that you feel might benefit from this content. Also hit that notification bell. It lets you guys know when we're issuing new content. Also, become a patron on Patreon. You guys will be able to see exclusive content that Josh and I love to put out there. And also follow us at Feeling Grounded Podcast. That's at Feeling Grounded Podcast. You guys will be able to see exclusive content for free that we like to put out there, especially our memes. And our thumbnails a little bit early.
Just leave comments, let us know, leave a question.
Yeah, that's what helps spark discussions. You've got questions?
Yo, feeling grounded.
Entertainment. Where's the entertainment, guys?
So I was reflecting on, companies versus their fans, and also insulting their fans. Seeing Masters of the Universe Part 1 and 2, Part 2 just came out as kind of a remake or reboot, so to speak. And now Santa Inc. also, which just came out, this show dubbed from Sarah Silverman, Seth Rogen.
It's a garbage show. Don't watch it.
Hollywood seems to, trash fans, and it made me do some thinking. A common trend for the greater part of 10 years or so, maybe even more, would be companies taking an old product, an old IP, and attempting to get fans hyped on it.
Mm-hmm.
And what other than, Masters of the Universe?
Well, every Disney thing, every Disney movie, there's like video games too, like this kind of the same culture. Mm-hmm. They remake like an old character, they bring something back, like
Star Wars sequels,
Star Wars, yeah, Star Wars,
and possibly
definitely.
Even Lord of the Rings show. They're bringing a lot of like weird.
I hate that they're doing that.
It seems like companies use like the same basic formula, especially for the last like 5 or 6 years. They pick a product that was once popular, has a great fan base, but it's taken, a backseat. It's taken a breather, hasn't had a new product in a while. In this instance, Masters of the Universe. Step 2 is they remake it or announce a sequel, and dedicated fans are just really hyped about it. And then lastly, the big kicker is Step 3, they put real-world messaging and shoehorn them into the plot where they seem to really have no place.
No, exactly. And then everyone is upset by it, and rightfully so.
Yeah. And based on that backlash, which is inevitable, right? Yeah. But the companies say it's not our fault, and say that the fans are just toxic. Maybe they even call them man babies.
Because people are just speaking their minds about it, about something that they destroyed. You're taking an old IP that's beloved by people. And I can think about the fan base of He-Man was huge, because so many people grew up with that. Now, I didn't watch it or grew up with it. I'm not really invested in this, but I think there's a lot of people out there who were, like, they grew up with this stuff, and they love watching the show. They love watching He-Man make the transformation and destroy Skeletor and all this stuff. And then to hear that they're remaking it is like such an exciting thing for them. And then when they make it the way that it is now, which if you don't know, you can Google it, to kind of destroy the characters the way that they did, and to change some characters and make them seem a certain way is just unfaithful to the original. And rightfully so, people are upset. Now that they have a forum where they can come out and say that I'm upset by this, and I think what you did to the show destroyed the original idea of it, and we're rightfully upset.
And then, what made it good?
Yeah, exactly. You took the good stuff about it, and then you ruined it.
Yeah. And then lastly, Hollywood just moves on to the next franchise, and then the cycle continues, seemingly. Yeah. And they don't seem to learn from what they're doing.
No, they've done it to every single big IP by now. We've seen it with Star Trek, we've seen it with Star Wars, and then now they're going to do it with Lord of the Rings, and they're just taking like everything, and they're just ruining it for money.
Going back to step 1 about picking their product that seems to have a fan base before, why do this? Why resurrect it?
I think because we're in a very nostalgic generation, very nostalgic culture right now. You know, everyone's wishing that they were back, you know, when times were easier and we could sit with a bowl of Cocoa Puffs and watching He-Man or whatever it is. And something that's been dead for a while and then able to resurrect it. I mean, it excites people, you know, it takes us back. You know, like I remember Star Wars, when the sequels came out, I was like so excited, like, oh, like they're bringing it back. Like
we were living together at the time.
Yeah, that's right. We were so stoked and excited about this because that was our childhood, you know?
Yeah.
And then to do what they did with it. But yeah, I mean, that's why people buy into this stuff. It's because they're like taking advantage of our youth. You know,
and it's a fan base it's a fan base that wants more content, you know.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when they're selling it, they don't exactly have to work for, you know, building it up.
No, they really don't, because the hype's already
there. It's free money.
Yeah, exactly, and then take advantage of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with it is it depends on it not sucking.
Right.
You know, watching Star Wars back in my younger days, it's a lot different than, you know, how I watch it now. You know, investing time into something you love brings an even bigger attachment.
Yeah, it does, definitely does. So yeah, I could see that. It is such a shame, and it's interesting that that we were seeing that now, where like so many people are just, you know, they're hurt by this backlash that for some reason they did not see happening, even though they should obviously know by what they're doing.
You know, there's a lot of unwritten guidelines about what people can and cannot make for art or storytelling these days, unfortunately. But just like in modern Hollywood, you know, a quick way to end your career, it seems, especially if you're a director or a writer, it seems that if you deviate from mainstream thought, you're done. You know, it makes you have like no artistic freedom.
Which is the problem, which is the fear behind everybody, and why everything has just been the same conglomerate of what we're seeing and witnessing.
Yeah, it compromises what made the product popular in the first place. It becomes sanitized and bland. Oddly enough, there was a trailer that came out for a hotel, the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser Hotel, the most cringe-worthy trailer I've ever seen. The paid actors didn't want to be there, it looks like, and they were just faking all their enthusiasm. They deleted the trailer after like it being ratioed to hell, hilariously enough. More on that in a second. But literally, when I saw the trailer, it looked like The Fifth Element.
Wow.
You had like secular songs being played. You know, you had a bartender who looked like he totally belonged in Star Wars. I say that sarcastically. But yeah, it was deleted from YouTube. Who knows if they'll bring it back again just based on
the backlash.
Yeah. Yeah, so people are still expressing their concerns on YouTube, for example, with comments and dislikes, you know, the dislike button, even though YouTube tried to hide dislikes for small creators, wink, wink. There's an extension on Google. You can see it on the internet. The internet always finds a way. That's all I'll say on the matter.
No, that's so true. That's so true. How do we get out of this rut? Like, how do we get out of this like creative barrier that we're in? This like wall that's like not allowing people to like express their true desires for stories, and like how do we fix this?
It's a multitude of examples that probably will all play into each other. A lot of artists are going to go to other platforms.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, is that people are going to just leave Hollywood and it has to burn before it gets better, you know?
Yeah, or Hollywood will, in best case scenario, Hollywood will learn in the next few years what sticks and what doesn't, and then like the chameleons that they are, they'll just go to what is popular, and then we'll like them again.
Yeah, so here's hoping they will listen so the content can be much better. Please.
The future is inevitable, but let's travel back in time.
December 8th, 1941. So the United States declares war on Japan. December 7th, the day before, was Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, that's right.
Absolutely decimated after Pearl Harbor. You know, FDR, he leans on his son, James, you know, who was also a Marine captain. They walked into the House of Representatives around noontime, And yeah, he gave this historic "This is a day which will live in infamy" speech.
And the fact that we still talk about it today, I mean, it was this horrible atrocity.
Yeah, what's interesting about it too, I did some reflecting on it. It's more or less what led to the internment camps of the Japanese too, under FDR's ruling, which, while understandable at the time as a fly on the wall, like, of course it's people criticize it for it being a bigoted response. What do you think, Josh?
I never learned about that in public school.
No.
I think that's interesting that like people were very hush hush about the fact that we had internment camps for Japanese. So it's kind of interesting to hear about. And I've been reading through 1984 right now, so like I'm like seeing all of these similarities. Like,
did you see the movie? I think it's on Prime.
Not yet. I'm gonna finish the book first, and then I'm gonna watch it. But
yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Just like changing history. Yeah, changing history. And it's nuts.
December 8th, 1980. John Lennon was shot by an unidentified killer who we later learn is Mark David Chapman. He was walking outside of his apartment with Yoko Ono, his wife, outside the Dakota. He was going to...
It was in New York, right?
Yeah, he was going to a photo shoot with Annie Leibovitz, and then came back later, and Mark David Chapman was fresh off of Catcher in the Rye, which is one of his books that he saw a bunch of influence from, thinking that John Lennon was a hypocrite. A lot of this rumblings in his mind, because he was clearly deranged.
Right.
And yeah, after a few hours later, after being rushed to the hospital, I believe John Lennon passed away.
Yeah, it's a shame. It really is. He was one of the most influential writers and musicians, I think, in I would say almost like all time. Complete legend. He inspired so many people, countless people, with his songwriting abilities and his musicianship and his ridiculousness. I think was. Yeah, so the world got a little darker on that day.
Absolutely. To give a little like positive note to this, it's interesting because this is December of 1980, and he was just about 40 years old. And the Beatles had been apart for, I mean, they broke up in 19. Yeah, they were away from each other from 1970, but in 74 they, unwritten, they were broken up. But supposedly in 1981 there were plans to reunite all four of them back together.
Man.
So that's a really positive, great thing. But yeah, I can understand the sadness with that.
Yeah, definitely. And just recently, we did this whole thing in my family where we listed like the top 25 Beatles songs, and I found that like all of mine are John songs. Like I loved his songs more so than anybody else. My number one, Joe, can you guess what number one John song?
In My Life.
Tomorrow Never Knows.
Oh,
it's
dude.
my all-time favorite.
Yeah, man. I love Tomorrow Never Knows.
Favorite. Yeah.
It's time for Happy Crappy.
All right, how's it going, Joe?
Man, I'm great. How are you? We've had a nice break.
Nice little break, a couple of weeks to enjoy thanks-taking and giving.
And shopping. All in preparation for a holiday that is fast upon us.
That is fast upon us. That I'm very excited about. I love me some Christmas. I'm the type that celebrates Christmas from like the end of Halloween. Like that is like I know it's like sacrilege in our culture today. Everyone hates people that are like this, but this is me.
I'm one of them, and this podcast ends now.
I'm a very early Christmas celebrator.
Did you know about because I think I remember you telling me that you listen to Christmas music all the time.
Yeah.
Like
well,
if you had
not all the time. No, I'll start in October. Not all the time. It'll just be like, oh, I got like a Christmas mood right now, so I'm gonna play a couple songs in October. It's not I'm gonna just listen to it religiously until Christmas. Like no, it's not.
Have you heard of the Wham challenge, Whamageddon?
I have heard of that, and I do not agree. I do not approve.
You don't approve?
I appreciate people who like that song, but I am not one of those people.
I remember I did like a George Michael impression
Yeah.
for you and Claire
Well,
like 2 years ago.
We did a cover. Remember we jammed at an open mic night in college. We did that one.
We
the
did Jitterbug. Yeah,
what
yeah.
song is that?
It was
Boom into my heart. Wake me up
Before You Go.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. We were going to do that song, but we realized it wasn't
That's right.
apropos.
Oh, that's right, because we did it for like a refugee
charity
thing,
charity
like a charity
thing.
event.
Yeah.
And we're like, I guess we probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah. Again, Whamageddon. You're not. It's supposed to deal with the first original Last Christmas song. So if you ever hear that original version, you lose the game. You're not supposed to listen to it from December 1st through 24th. And I happened to like just roll into like a meeting with a coworker, and they just happened to be playing it, and I lost.
You lost. Yeah, I haven't. I'm winning it so far. I haven't listened to it yet. So yeah, but how was your Thanksgiving?
My happy was
happy crap.
My happy was Thanksgiving, so it was a very long and happy 4-day weekend. You know, Thanksgiving morning went out, went for a running race. It was fun.
Nice.
Biting cold, as it should be. Yeah. And then Black Friday shopping, I decided to challenge myself by not getting up early in the morning.
Nice,
I decided to
good.
challenge myself by going out at like 3 o'clock, brave the lines then. And a lot of the times I said, screw it, don't really want to go on those lines, so I went back the day after. But that's the long and short of it.
I didn't go on Black Friday this year. I was like, I'm just not gonna go. Plus, I was with my parents, so it was kind of hard to get anywhere.
Online shopping is tempting. I didn't go last year.
Yeah, I'm into that online shopping as much as I hate to support a certain company that makes billions of dollars a week.
Yeah,
but I still support them.
Speaking
it's
of
so easy, it's so easy.
Speaking of billions of dollars, my crappy. I couldn't really think of anything, but I decided to just like go the negativity route right now and just crap on gas prices and groceries in general rising.
Yeah, things are expensive, man. Yeah, they really are. Yeah.
What's the highest right now in California? I think it's about $4.15.
Here it's almost $4. It's creeping up, man. Not good. It used to be $20 to fill up my Prius. Now it's almost $40. So happy crappy. My happy crappy had a great Thanksgiving. Spent the time with my family, in a location that is not where I currently am. And so it was nice to travel to them and to do that whole thing, do the Thanksgiving with them was beautiful. Had a very chill couple of days, rested in their location because they're literally in the middle of nowhere. So it's like it's always nice to head up there. Kids were awesome. So just a lot of good experiences the past couple of weeks. And then my crappy is that just the noom kind of fell off a little bit just from the eating and the traveling and then routine shattering. I've just been struggling a little bit the past couple of weeks. Well,
there were a couple days where the routine gets set off, but it's not the end of the world.
Exactly. And I just have to keep reminding myself that like it's okay. It's all right. Like this is a lifelong thing. It's not just over just because I had a couple of bad days. Yeah. But I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. I worked my way back down again. I was up like a game probably like 5 or 6 pounds after eating all that stuff, and then now I worked my way slowly back down. I'm like 2 pounds away from my lowest, so we're getting there. We're getting back.
You kept losing 1 pound a day. You left.
I was, which was crazy. So that's the plan. So I need by January 1st. So however many days that is, 26. I have to be 241, and I'm 245 right now. Okay. So I have to lose 4 more pounds, which technically I could do in just like 4 or 5 days. If I'm really good. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. So what we want you all to do right now is subscribe to Feeling Grounded Podcast. Like this video. Share this video to any person that you feel might benefit from this content. Also hit that notification bell. It lets you guys know when we're issuing new content. Also, become a patron on Patreon. You guys will be able to see exclusive content that Josh and I love to put out there. And also, follow us at Feeling Grounded Podcast. That's at Feeling Grounded Podcast. You guys will be able to see exclusive content for free that we like to put out there, especially our memes. And our thumbnails a little bit early.
Just leave comments. Let us know. Leave a question.
Yeah, that's what helps spark discussions. You've got questions?
You're feeling grounded.